When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello YouTube. So, we're back on the Grease Goblins channel. And today, we're going to be doing another video from the comments. We're going to be doing Mushroom. If you are unfamiliar with Mushroom, he is basically one of the perspective characters we get in Fire and Blood. Mainly through the beginning, following, all the way through the Dance of the Dragons into basically the end, where we have basically the Restoration and the end of the Civil War. So yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, like, and comment. I'm struggling to talk this video, but, we'll get through it. So getting into Mushroom. Mushroom's an interesting character because we have the, basically, POVs of the Maesters, and they're kind of telling the side of the Greens. Almost all the time, they're making the Greens seem like good people and all this, while Mushroom's someone who gives us the point of view in the Blacks camp, so Rhaenyra's camp, as well as, a little bit before and after. So we first see of Mushroom with Viserys. We see him in the service of Viserys I, and this is basically Rhaenyra's father. And what we see is, we see him telling this darker side, usually, of stories, and it seems exaggerated. So this is going to be a common theme. I want you guys to let me know what you think about Mushroom's stories, because usually they're very vile and very weird. We get this story right off the bat that basically Daemon Targaryen, which is Viserys' brother, actually took the maidenhead of Alicent Hightower, which is a bold claim. And then also he said that Daemon taught Rhaenyra the ways to touch a man and, instigating a lot of other stuff. So a lot of dark stuff that probably didn't happen. Maybe there's some truth to it. Like maybe Daemon had a thing for Alicent or something, but he gets real dark, and there's a lot of stories basically like that. And basically Mushroom is a fool, so that's kind of his excuse for how he knows so much, that he's always is in the presence of the king and stuff like that, and courts. And Mushroom basically suggests that he actually was there when Viserys was dying, because he was the only one that could make the king laugh, which is kind of odd, because the dude's dying. I mean, I don't think he's going to care, but that's what Mushroom suggests. After we have that, he then basically takes off to go to Dragonstone with Rhaenyra, and this is where we will see him for most of the Dance of the Dragons. He's basically always with Rhaenyra. Basically, he doesn't give counsel. He kind of just is telling us what happened, and, basically saying, he saw the twins of the Kingsguard fighting, and all this, and a lot of the stories he tries to tell are very exaggerated. And once Rhaenyra basically goes to take King's Landing, which she does, after this, basically, Mushroom, goes with the ladies of the court that were Rhaenyra's, lady friends or whatever, and takes up residence there, pretty much till the end of the Dance of Dragons and even further. And we see Mushroom basically telling Rhaenyra certain things, giving her counsel at this point, like when they storm the dragon pit to kill pretty much the rest of Rhaenyra's remaining dragons, that, cautioning her, because Rhaenyra basically, in Mushroom's account, says that they are drunken fools. They'll never be able to even touch the dragons. The dragons will basically do one thing of fire, and they'll basically run off. And Mushroom basically responds with, a drunken fool might not know, maybe they have some false courage, especially with the amount of people that went, and they ended up, killing the dragons, as well as one of Rhaenyra's children. And this pretty much broke Rhaenyra at this point, and would lead to her eventual death when she goes back to Dragonstone. At this point, Mushroom also claimed that he was one of the only few people that could make Rhaenyra happy at this point in her life, where she'd seen all of her children, or most of her children at this point, be killed. So we have this common theme where Mushroom is basically stating that the reason he's always in council with Elias people is because he was a funny dude. This may or may not be true. Maybe he was just there. Who knows? And so Rhaenyra goes off to Dragonstone. She dies. And basically, we see that Mushroom stays and is now serving with the reign of Aegon III. And Aegon III, again, keeps him around kind of just as a fool like we've seen before. And this is really where Mushroom stays for the remainder of his well, not his life. He stays there for a good amount of time, and then he kind of, goes around. He goes to White Harbor. He goes to the Sea Lord of Bravos. So he kind of just travels around. But again, Mushroom kind of fades away as he was really more of our big POV, character for the or not the Winds of Winter. Let's say the Winds of Winter, but with the Dance of Dragons. And pretty much that's all. I'm not sure if Mushroom stories are correct. I would say majority of his stories, there are some truth to it. So it's kind of like when you look at real life where you have those people, everybody can think of that one person where they've these really exaggerated stories that aren't true, but they're just really fun to listen to, or they're just really cool. That's what I think Mushroom is. I think Mushroom's one of those characters where a lot of these are based in reality and are truth, but he adds things to it. Like, that's how I look at Mushroom as a character, because you have, like we said, where I think the Maesters cover up a lot of things and sugarcoat a lot of things. As you'll see, I've been trying to make a Maester conspiracy video. It's a really big video to handle and to do it justice, so that's why that video has been pushed back quite a bit. I actually wanted to have it done last week, but I pushed it to this week because I want to make sure I get it all right. But the Maesters tend to leave out things and sugarcoat things, or have a bias to them to where they make the Hightowers and the Greens look a lot better, because they're, in my opinion, they're trying to get rid of the dragons, as many other people have theorized. I think Mushroom gives you the flip side, where he gives you the other extreme. He gives you the extreme where he's probably just saying stuff to make either the blacks look bad, the greens look bad. He goes to the extreme. Like I said and mentioned before, that the Rhaenyra thing with Daemon Targaryen, I doubt that happened, where basically he's teaching her how to do hand jobs and stuff. Like, I don't think that happened. I don't think that happened. Maybe there was some talk of, this is what I think probably happened. Daemon probably talked to her and goes, at one point, you're going to have to basically reproduce and make children and stuff, and basically giving her the talk. And Mushroom basically did that. That's what I think probably with a lot of the stories that Mushroom tells is what's going on. And basically George wants us to really read that fine line where there's this line where you're up here, where it's the Maesters. There's a line down here where it's, Mushroom. You're supposed to be kind of filling in the gaps in the middle, because it's something you have to remember when you're reading the books, or the book Fire and Blood, is that it's told from perspectives. It's not the exact history. You're really supposed to figure out your own history, which is what I think makes Fire and Blood such a good, read. And if you haven't read it, I think you should read it. It's good. It's not as good as the main series of Song of Ice and Fire, but it's a really good book that gives you a lot of context to some of the historical events of the Targaryen reigns that you might not know as much from A Song of Ice and Fire. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's some other historical character you guys would like me to talk about within A Song of Ice and Fire, or Song of Ice and Fire, if I can say it right. And I will see you guys all in the next video. I hope you guys are excited for the Maester Conspiracy video. I'm going to try to get it out as soon as possible. And yeah, bye guys.